They thought I'd cave. They thought I'd beg for scraps at their table. Instead, I just stopped paying. The mortgage, the taxes, the quiet lifeline that had kept their house standing for years, I cut it all off. At first, they didn't notice. Why would they? I'd been carrying them for over a decade, quietly and dutifully, the dependable son who never said no. 1 month passed, then 2. Finally, my phone lit up with a text from Mom. Mortgage due. I stared at it, let the silence hang, and typed back 4 words sharper than any scream. You chose, now pay. I used to believe in family. I used to think blood meant loyalty. That belief died the day I sat in the lawyer's office and heard the will. Every cent, every acre, every piece of what my parents had built, they gave it all to my brother, their golden boy. Not by mistake, not by accident. It was written, signed, and notarized. I'll never forget that room. My brother smirking, shoulders squared like he'd just won a prize he never earned. My parents staring at me, waiting for me to react. I gave them nothing, not a word, just a small nod, as if I understood. But inside, something icy locked into place. They'd forgotten who had really been keeping that roof over their heads. It wasn't always like this. Growing up, I idolized my brother. He was older, louder, brighter. He got the praise, the spotlight. I didn't mind. I thought that was the way things worked. He shined, I supported. When Dad lost his job, it was me who worked extra shifts. When Mom's medical bills piled up, I was the one signing the checks. My brother? He was always between opportunities, always promising the next big thing was right around the corner. They knew the truth. They saw the deposits, the transfers, the sacrifices. But gratitude faded into expectation. My help became invisible. Still, I kept paying, because they were my parents and because I thought, one day they'd finally see me. But the will made it clear, they had seen me all along, they just didn't care. The night after the reading, I didn't sleep. Not out of sadness, but calculation. I pulled up the accounts, mortgage autopay, my card, property taxes, my card, home insurance, mine. They hadn't lifted a finger in years. So, I lifted mine once. Click, cancel. I knew exactly what would happen. Without me, the house would bleed them dry, the bank wouldn't wait, and neither would I. The first month brought silence, the second, irritation. By the third, Mom's text came, and my reply was the dagger they never saw coming. At first, they didn't believe me. Dad called, his voice shaking under a forced authority. You can't just stop. This is the family home. I almost laughed. Family? The word tasted sour. I'm not stopping, I told him calmly. I already stopped. Then came the begging. Late-night calls from Mom, her voice breaking, pleading about memories, traditions, how unfair this was. Unfair? The irony nearly made me choke. My brother stayed silent, of course, too proud to beg, too cowardly to confront me. I knew his type. Always waiting for someone else to fix his mess. But this time, there was no one left. Within weeks, the notices started piling at their door. Red letters, threats of foreclosure. One night, I drove past and watched from across the street. The house was dark, curtains pulled tight. My brother's car was gone, probably parked outside some bar, drowning his shame in strangers' sympathy. That house, their shrine of favoritism, was rotting from the inside out. The downfall came quicker than I imagined. A month later, Mom texted again. Not anger, not guilt, just raw desperation. They're taking the house. Please help us, just this once. I stared at her words, but all I felt was a clean, sharp satisfaction. They had made their choice the day they wrote me out of their lives. My reply was the same as before. Cold, final. You chose, now pay. 2 weeks later, the foreclosure notice went public. Their proud address, the house they paraded at every holiday, was listed for auction. Neighbors whispered, old friends avoided eye contact. My brother vanished, his pride collapsing under the weight of reality. And my parents, Mom with her bitterness, Dad with his silence, were finally forced to face the truth. The son they dismissed had been the one holding everything together. Do I feel guilty? Not even a little. I feel free. For years, I was their safety net, the invisible son, the quiet wallet. Now I'm nothing, and that's exactly what they made me. Revenge wasn't fire, it wasn't screaming, it was silence. It was stepping back and letting gravity do the rest. I didn't burn their house down. I just stopped holding it up. They thought I'd crumble when they cut me out. Instead, I let them fall, and as I watched their kingdom collapse, I felt the first real peace I'd known in years. They put my brother's name on the will. Fine. Let him inherit the ashes. Me? I inherited something better.